Yo. Check it out. So we're just going to get into this real quick. I fucks with the Manosphere. I've said this many of times. I do fuck with the Manosphere. It's an important thing for men to have a media to, have one of my own. Talk about our problems, things men go through, and, the trials and tribulations of man. It's needed, especially in this day and age where even though people don't really agree with it or don't really like what some of the shit's saying, it is inevitable that it is needed. And I think a lot of people are, now just listening to us. Now, some will understand, some will think it's ridiculous, but either way, it starts the conversation of, men and the shit we go through. With that being said, there are times where I feel like we do reach. Yes, there are times we do reach. And I have two examples. I was originally going to put this out, and I don't, and since, we're gonna be talking about, like, I'm gonna be talking about it on the podcast anyway, but we're gonna be talking about this. Now, I want people to understand, and this is just my opinion on it, but I do want people to understand when it comes to like manhood, especially black manhood. A lot of black men in general take our manhood very, very seriously. Like, and people wonder is just like why black people take it more seriously than any other races because our manhood gets tried every fucking day. If it's not by us, it's by other people. Now, I never understood this until I got into the Navy, and I've got into other races and how they kind of like uh, value their manhood. Now, Latinos are sort of like us. It's like the Black and Brown Coalition and all that other stuff. Now, sometimes they play the white field sometimes, but majority of the times they're like us. If not, in some aspects, it's really worse. Like if you think homosexuality is bad in the black neighborhoods, go to the Latin community. They do not like that shit. it's, it's like if you think black people are bad when it comes to homosexuality, be a gay guy and a Latino in a Latin neighborhood with a bunch of cholos. They'll fuck you up. Them niggas will fuck you up. It's like I was in high school and there was this gay boy. He was fucking Latin. Now when fucking he was in when he was in I think this was his freshman year because he was just he'd be around the girls being all flamboyant and gay and shit. He was like, "Hey girl, you like my nails?" and all that shit. Flamboyant as fuck. There was one time when his father went to the school and this nigga cold switched like a motherfucker. You thought this nigga was, the biggest playboy, trying to holler at girls or some shit like that. See what you mean. Now, back to black people. Reason why am I even bringing this up? Because there is a picture, two pictures that I feel like black men we're just reaching on. And Umar and one of them is about Umar, but I think one of them is because they don't know where it came from, and the other one is I just think it's just a fucking reach. Anyway, the first one I want to talk about is the one with Jonathan Majors, and you see him with the pink coke and the thigh high boots or some shit like that, or I don't know. It looked like jeans with the boots. I don't know what the fuck it was, but a lot of people look at that as emasculation. Now, here's the thing about emasculation in the black community. It happens very prevalent to where just like if it's not done by our women, because trust me, there are women that like to emasculate black men, it's done by white America and white supremacy. Because if you really look at a strong black male, someone like a Michael J. White, someone like a Michael B. Jordan, or anybody like that tough macho man. Hell, I even throw Terry Crews in there, even though like the situation with him, a lot of people clowned on him, or 50 Cent. People like that. When you look at a strong black man, you think of niggas like that. Now, black like we get tried. Our manhood gets tried all the fucking time, especially in the hood, where it's just like niggas will want to fight you for no fucking reason. And then niggas will try you, and they'll call you a bitch ass nigga, pussy ass nigga, a fuck boy. It was like niggas literally try to initiate you into a fucking fight because they want to feel like the biggest, baddest of everybody. Niggas manhood gets tried. Now I'm not saying like other manhoods doesn't, but I feel like we get we get tried the most. Now our man, we are so protective of our manhood that we don't even want to look remotely gay in front of anybody. Like like no homo is funny as hell to me. But even I say no homo, but I say it. I tell everybody I say it when I make a joke. When I know shit sound gay, I go pause or no homo and some shit like that. It gets a laugh out of people, and that's what I be wanting from people. It's just like if I say like, "Yo, it was really hard. It was really hard putting it out from the back. No homo. Niggas is really like they'll fucking stop. It was as cause I said no homo. They'll think about it. It's like, oh, that's funny. I use that as always say it. I use that as a joke. It's like I know I'm not gay, and I know sometimes even if I say something, I know I'm not. I was like I'm confident in my sexuality, but I do use that as a joke because I think it's funny. And sometimes now, but I do realize that a lot of men we use pause and no homo for a lot of things where you can't eat a banana, eat a hot dog, motherfucking drink from a half the times drink from a straw because that requires sucking. Uh, pause. See, just like that, shit like that. Um, but we are so protective of our manhood that we don't want to look like anything like regular stuff like eating a banana, a hot dog, or even drinking from in my opinion, even drinking from a straw. It's just like you look gay. It's just like niggas can't. You can't even fucking eat a popsicle or ice cream without looking kind of suspect to some niggas. You're like, nigga, you looking the fuck out of that ice cream, my nigga. Might have to put you to work or some shit like that. Like, but then again, who has ever looked hard looking at ice cream? But that was the joke I made. It was like, nigga, nobody ever looked hard threatening eating a fucking ice cream cone. It's like, do you really feel like you like scared of a nigga and this nigga lick an ice cream? Like, imagine someone talking about I'm gonna fuck you up and then lick an ice cream. Shut your bitch ass up. But even then, it's just like nigga being fucking badass. You can see him nicking ice cream and shit. Niggas ain't fucking. We not doing that. So, but it's obvious we are tight. It's like our manhood is like we keep that shit on the right. We keep that shit protective, and it's like to a point where we feel like anybody is barging into our manhood, we are ready to fight and die for it. That's how hard we protect our manhood. Now, sometimes we look at shit, and even in because of history, and it shows the emasculation of a black man. If it wasn't for slavery, you can see some of the shits in Hollywood, even going as far as men wearing dresses. Now, if you talk to someone like Ari Spears, that's comedy 101. And white people wear dresses all the fucking time, and like no one ever looks at them as being emasculated. But if a black man wears a dress, we're being emasculated. For some people, it's just like now. Both sides are right. It's just, do I want to wear a dress or not? It's like, do I really like, especially if that's not part of your comedy routine? You shouldn't be. You should, and you feel like you're funny without the dress. You don't need the fucking dress. But Eric Spears is right. It's comedy 101. Even some of the most prolific men has wore dresses. Like Wesley Snipes wore a dress in 2-1 Fu. No, do anybody look at him like a bitch? No. Martin Lawrence and Eddie Murphy has been in dresses. Do we ever look at them like a bunch of bitches? No. Matter of fact, Martin is so good. We know him from Martin. Now, yes, he played Shanae, but if you would say Martin, you would know him as Martin, not Shanae. Now, Tyler Perry, it's different. Tyler Perry's tried to get away from the Medea, and yet, it still brings him along because people love, because that character is so fucking iconic that he really can't. He has tried, though. Especially with like other movies where he's just either playing himself or playing a role. But a lot of people was going to remember him for the Medea. So that's why Medea can't die. He tried killing that character. And I've had this debate with my father too, because he was just like, why Tyler Perry was killing the character. He was like, but that's his breadwinner. And I said, he's trying to get away from that character because a lot of people refer to him as a character. More or less, that's Medea and not Tyler Perry. Even though he's a billionaire and he made his money off that dress, which is fine, which is remarkable in his fucking but he knows he gets shit from wearing that fucking dress. So he has tried his best to stay away from that dress, but that character is so iconic that is, and it makes him so much fucking money that people will fucking they come in droves in place just to see a Medea play. And he knows that. Now, even in the movies, like the Netflix movies, the Medea movies, people come and see that movie. We are fucking sick, which is like it shows the contradictory of black men. We get tired of seeing these Medea movies. We talk about how these shits is kind of like buffoonery, but we go see them. Now, me not personally, I like the Medea movies, so that's what I'm saying. Now, but that's how it shows that the tight the it shows how tightly we fucking cherish our manhood. Like it could to us, it could be taken at any day, and it's hard to get it back. In our opinion, even white people, they don't care. I've seen like white people like this is also me in the Navy. It's just that I noticed to myself, like white people, they cuss each other out. They fucking I've seen them like punch each other in the balls, and do some shit. I've seen some shit white people do that black people wouldn't even fucking dare. I watched. I had Navy people who was just like walk around fucking naked in a room full of men and just like would not give a fuck. And it's just like go around flapjacking people, which is they fucking thrust their pelvic area back and forth and just make this flapping jobs. It's just a flapjack. There was a guy that did that all the fucking time. White people is just different. If you ever watch Jackass, them motherfuckers are different. Black people wouldn't fucking dare. It's a hell. You get black. If a black person is doing this shit that I just told you, they grew up around white people. But black people, we like, the fuck is wrong with y'all? But they have that. But I also say there's white people. They have that space to do that because not people not gonna look at them as gay if they do that. How many times you seen Jackass do some in black people where it's gay ass shit, but they don't even look gay. It's just a bunch of goofy ass white people. Like the party, like the white boy in the Jackass, he used to do the party boy. He used to go around just fucking dry humping people and shit. It's just like no one looked at that as shit's gay as fuck. Black person can't do that shit, but a white person can. Motherfucker, he did. There was a Jackass. What was one of the Jackass joint where dude put a toy car up his ass with a condom in it? Now Steve-O, he was going to do it, but he said he talked to his father, and he was like, "I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be mad. I'd be disappointed," and that's what stopped him. But the other dude put a put a fucking condom with a toy car up his ass, and went to the doctor just for the fucking humor of it. And even the Indian doctor was like, "What the fuck?" It's just like white people. The shit I hear white people do at frat parties or some shit like that, where it's just like you don't want to fall asleep. I swear to God, first time I went drinking away, but I made sure I did not fall asleep. And if anybody knows me, I can fall asleep like that. I'm damn near narcoleptic. I'm not narcoleptic, but I'm damn near narcoleptic. I fall asleep like fucking that. Now, with that being said, I stayed awake because you was not doing. It was like they is not drawing no dicks on me or none of that shit. I'm not having that shit. Now, so you can blame that on slavery. Buck breaking and camps where they buck break. And, even the Jim Crows where it's just like they used to do stuff to emasculate the black man, as in like obviously buck breaking or take the fathers out the home, and it's just like because they was just afraid of the strong male father figure. Because this is why a lot of black men we talk about, you take the fathers out they're continuing trying to take fathers out the lives of our black people, and people are growing up either they're a little softer, they're a little more feminine because you're around a bunch of women. It's just like you're gonna pick up some women traits, so that's why you need a man in your house, which is fine. And all of that is I agree with. Now, I'm 15 minutes in, and I haven't even gotten to why do I think this is a reach. But we are going to get into it now. The two pictures I am going to be talking about: the Jonathan Majors one and the Rihanna with the ASAP Rocky in the back. Now, throughout that 15-minute explanation of being, talking about the Manosphere and why are things how black people are. That is one thing that I hope people understand. I hope I said that clear enough that people can understand. But there are times where I feel like we reach a bit. These are it. And they're both talking about photos. Now, we're gonna talk with Jonathan Majors first because I feel like I just said this, but I just went on a random. So I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna keep it on cue. The Jonathan Majors one. If people do not understand that is from an anime called One Piece, and it was an inspiration from a villain, Don Flamingo. If you don't know who Don Flamingo is, I will put because I can't show you here because of obviously copyright issues, and sometimes the anime people, I think it's Toy will fucking copyright you in the fucking minute. I done seen a lot of those people, but if you ask any anime fan, any One Piece fan about Don Flamingo, he is anything but feminine or like a bitch. That nigga is a fucking demon. Most people refer to him as having Black Air Force One energy. Alright? I will give you a video and you can watch that video of people explaining the Black Air Force One energy that Don Flamingo has. That nigga is anything but soft. And I don't watch One Piece. I do like anime, but I don't watch One Piece because it's too many fucking episodes and I'm not going to sit there. But I've heard of Don Flamingo a couple times. I've seen people cosplay as Don Flamingo a couple times. Alright? That man is anything but effeminate if you ever just watch anything with him. It's like if someone cosplays as Madara and someone goes, "Oh, that nigga look effeminate." It's just like, "Oh no, that nigga Madara a goon." Any anime, so this is where the anime nerds come in. It's just like, "Oh no," and this is what people trying to tell you. This is just an inspiration. Okay, the boots are a bit much, but anything, even in that fucking picture, I don't get effeminate from him. Now, a lot of people will say, which a lot of people said about Prince. Yes, Prince was an androgynous, but if you ask anybody around him, anybody that knew Prince, that nigga wasn't gay. That nigga was a nigga. Same thing with Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson, yeah, he may have the soft voice that, "Oh, I just love to thank my fans" and all that shit. Most people know that nigga from Gary, Indiana, and that nigga kind of petty, and no, Michael a real nigga. Which is why I like hearing, like, when people say they meet Michael, it's just like, "Oh, Michael a nigga." And everybody tell you, "Oh no, don't let that high-pitched voice fool you," and bingo. This nigga, he is a nigga. And there are people like that. Another one is ASAP Rocky. And this one disappointed. And I'm gonna tell you this because I already seen people was just like talk about this and Jonathan Majors. And this one kind of disappointed me a little bit because one, with Jonathan Majors, I just don't think they know who Don Flamingo is and where the fucking shit came from. If they knew who that fucking was, you'd have just appreciated it. But, and I know some people is going to have a counter for this, which, you are open to counter that. But you have to a lot of people, I don't get effeminate from that picture. And even when I look at it, I do not get effeminate from that picture. I don't see it. Now, ASAP Rocky. Now, look, first things first, that Vogue magazine was about Rihanna. If it was about ASAP Rocky, you may have a point. And I talked about this on the podcast, and my, now it's blowing up. Now it's really blowing up. But I kind of mentioned this a little bit on the last week's podcast, but I guess we could bring this up on this week's podcast when I do it. That is just a picture. Now, whoever fucking tried to decipher that and try to make it seem like ASAP Rocky is emasculated. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with you, but you need to go outside and touch grass. Or you just sometimes and this is what I'm saying. Sometimes we get too deep into our shit where and this is why like even some of the red pill Manosphere shit I watch, there's some shit they fucking do stories on, and I'm like, this is a reach. And this one to me, I would die on this hill to say this is a reach. That is a man holding his kid. Since when is a man holding his kid? We gonna put this up because Rihanna's in front. The shit. The fucking Vogue magazine was about Rihanna. The article was about Rihanna. And even in the front, in the Vogue magazine, which I'm going to put on here, it says Rihanna Reborn. Rihanna Reborn. So obviously it was about Rihanna. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they asked some questions about Rocky. But that shit was about Rihanna. So why wouldn't Rihanna be in the front? So we should go. I'm not even going to get to the, her being a billionaire, and because I can go into all that too. But we're just going to go with the picture. That shit is about Rihanna. And in the back, you have a father holding his child and kissing him on the forehead. So the father giving his child love. What the fuck? Why would anybody have a problem with that? Is it because who Rihanna is? Because she's a billionaire? Because ASAP Rocky get money too. Is it, is because, and I know people, the whole straight line and the slanted line and all that stuff is just like, and, that says whatever, but, but that right there is just like, what, and I've also said this, celebrity fucking relationships and an average Joe relationship is very different. We cannot compare the two. I know a lot of people try to compare the two, but celebrities, especially like female celebrities that make millions, or in Rihanna's case, billions of fucking dollars, they're in their own fucking tax bracket, they're in their own fucking league. Kevin Samuels once said this too. When he talk about high value man, he doesn't include entertainers or rappers or athletes. Because you're in a different realm and you get your money differently. You do not get your money in Now, the corporate shit and how, the other 99% of the world, the way they make their money is very fucking different than what an athlete, an entertainer, or a fucking celebrity makes their money. So, that's a whole different world. But in the world where, like, this is apples and oranges. Y'all shouldn't even be comparing the two. And that's the problem I have. It's just like, you're trying to, and then I feel like the men are doing more of the emasculation to ASAP Rocky than the women are, or, to what the magazines are. I feel like you're trying to make him look more like a bitch than what you think the magazine is doing. Because you're putting this out. And this is why I think sometimes we are, and sometimes we are, I hate to say it, we are up our own ass more than usual. Yo, Lord, my PS4 is making noises. Man, I might have to clean that thing. But anyway, yeah, sometimes we are up our asses more than usual. And I don't like that. I really don't. Sometimes we just gotta, like, sometimes it's just we dig too deep. Sometimes come back a little bit, come back. And I tell people, come back. This is the time where even fucking Charlamagne said, sometimes we be too woke, you need some sleep. And this is the time where I tell people, just come back a little bit. Just come back a little bit. You're too you delve too deep. You dove too deep. All right? You just doing too much. It's just like, it's not that serious, not that deep. And that's how I feel about this. It's just that Manosphere, I love y'all, but sometimes we go off into the deep end. And some of my favorite YouTubers, when I'm just like, yeah, I'll do this. Some of my favorite red pills is sometimes, it's too deep. You're too deep. Come back. You're back. You're drowning. You're drowning out there. All right, you can swim, but come back a little bit. You're doing too much. You're doing too much. It's like, it's not even like that. And it's just once in a while we gotta check ourselves, because it's like I said, I keep saying it's not that serious. I do, but in conclusion, okay, I'm gonna just end this. In conclusion, I understand, and black men, I understand that sometimes we get emasculated a lot. It's, yes, on a daily basis, where like we sometimes, which is why I feel like a lot of the times, especially black men, we over exaggerate how manly we are, and sometimes we do things to show people I'm I'm very manly, or I'm more of a man than you are, or we sometimes we get into that realm. It's just like just throwing our dicks on the, like just like whipping our dicks out and trying to show my shit bigger than yours, or theoretical dick, theoretical penises. It's like, or dick measuring contest, or dick pissing, or pissing contest, whichever analogy is. Like we get into that, and sometimes it's for shit that is not worth getting into. And sometimes we got to tell ourselves, you know what, chill. It's not even that deep. And I feel like that's what we need for some people, where it's just like, you know what, it's not even that deep, bruh. All right, if you get triggered off of a magazine cover that was solely focused on Rihanna in the fucking first place, you need to take a chill pill. And I know Dr. Umar Johnson, he had a picture, and I love Umar, but at the same time, I don't think Umar even knows what the fuck anime. I don't think Umar watches anime. Do you think Umar watches anime? So here's the thing. Now the Jonathan Majors thing, like I said, I understand because most people don't watch anime. It's like, who the fuck is Don Flamingo? And so you got to get an anime person. Oh no, that nigga a problem. Anytime when you tell people that nigga is a problem, that nigga is a problem. And one of my favorite, and I'm gonna end this here. One of my favorite characters, even in TV show, is Omar from The Wire. Omar from The Wire, motherfucker, gangster as fuck. Gangster as fuck. One of the hardest niggas in The Wire. Anybody will tell you, one of the hardest niggas in The Wire. Openly gay. Openly gay. That you watch that nigga kill, it's just like, and people love Omar, but it's just like when you see him kiss a dude, niggas cringe. It's like, oh, I want to be like Omar. When you see him kiss a dude, it's like, what the fuck? It's just, it's like, does that ruin the character? No, because a lot of people still look at Omar as a fucking gangster ass nigga. Niggas just like men. So what do you say about that? Now, and you see a lot of people just like, I don't know, nigga, you like Omar. It's like Omar is one of the most fucking deepest characters and one of the best written characters in the fucking Wire. Now, to me, you can have your macho. Now, I'm not one of the people that you don't need to be extra macho. I like the macho characters, especially wrestlers. Like wrestlers shows the most, like Macho Man Randy Savage, the Hulk Hogan's, The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Your people that exude manhood. You got your fighters, your Mike Tyson's, your Muhammad Ali's, your George Foreman's, John Bones Jones, and niggas that like your hard niggas, your even our rappers, your Jadakisses, your DMX's, your fucking LL Cool J's. Because say what you want, ain't nobody trying LL Cool J. Yeah, he makes a lot of female rap songs. Ain't nobody trying LL Cool J's. All right. It's okay to have that, but sometimes it's okay. You ain't gotta exude it all the fucking time. Sometimes you don't have to like show people. Some people just know. They know you a real nigga, like, or you a real, like, that's a man right there. When they look at you, that's a man right there. You ain't got to show and prove no more. All right? That part is already done. Just keep, towing that line and shit. And, live your life. But that's all I got to say. I'm almost 30 minutes in. And I'm going to let y'all know what you guys think. Till then, my name is Eskino Fly, and I'm out. Peace.